As Congress, thank you, by the way, Andrea. As Congress rushes to avert a government shutdown, we're looking back on the year in politics.
We will get to that year in review, but we could first do a 24 hours in review here.
Say, yes.
The host of Political Report, Paul Lisnick, is here. So let's start with this final spending bill that the House passed late today. Who won, who lost?
Well, if you listen to them, you would think that each side won. When the previous bills went down, you had Speaker Johnson basically saying the Democrats have killed this. They want the government to shut down. Not exactly a true statement, since the Democrats and Republicans had all signed off on a deal that was just fine until Elon Musk, supported by President-elect Trump, sort of said, kill this deal. What it was all about was a provision in that budget in which Trump wanted, that said the debt limit ceiling, you can't break the trillions of dollars unless you take the action in Congress. We want to get rid of that, get rid of it for the next 2 years. As time went on, it became get rid of it for the next 4 years. Well, the concern, if you're a Democrat, is, wait a minute, why do you want to remove the debt ceiling? That means you're ready to blow the sky off of this thing, otherwise you wouldn't care.
Which is not a position Republicans usually take.
It is not, and yet the Republicans, because Trump wanted it, they attempted to support it. It was a no-go, and so Johnson revisited it. Here's the bottom line. The House passed the bill without that provision in it. They also sadly cut out funding for pediatric cancer. That got pulled out at the request of Republicans to cut funding, but Republicans did promise, we'll take a look at that threshold part again when we come back in the fall. But that'll be under a Trump administration, so we'll see what happens. By the way, apparently in the dynamics, the Senate is putting that pediatric cancer bill back in.
Okay. So maybe it won't pass tonight?
Well, the question is whether it's in and whether it triggers the House needing to vote again. They're not going to do anything that will require that. So I haven't seen how they're doing it. Just know that that's something they're planning to put back in.
All right, let's talk about what's going on right now here locally.
Sure.
Board of Education right now voting whether or not Pedro Martinez is in or out. He filed a lawsuit later this afternoon. Where does this stand? What does the lawsuit have? Oh, wait, hold on. Okay, something just, what happened, Glenn? Okay, Martinez is out, 6-0.
Well, we're here for breaking news.
Yeah, breaking news. That just
and
happened.
6-0 is an interesting vote, right? Because what you had with this vote, and this was pushed. And by the way, Alderperson Deborah Silverstein of the 50th Ward, she is religious, observant Jewish person. She said, "Don't do this. You're in the middle of the Jewish Sabbath. Unfair to Jewish community." That didn't stop the board. They proceeded. But part of this issue has been that Brandon Johnson put his own people on this board. Martinez raises questions, as you were referring before in the lawsuit, about are they qualified and all of that, or is this a fix? 6-0 would suggest, well, let's take a closer look.
Well, will this lawsuit have any effect on this firing now?
Well, apparently it didn't, because he's been fired, from what you're reporting.
About 180 days?
Well, okay, so the fact that he's been fired, here's what we don't know yet. I think he's going to be fired without cause. That seems to be the indication. That means he's got 180 days to go. It triggers pay provisions and all of that. Because they're behind closed doors, we don't know whether they're coming up with some kind of cause that they're going to attach to it. And that's what I think Martinez is fighting against preemptively with his lawsuit.
But boy, Brandon Johnson this week has burnt a ton of political capital. First in that budget battle with aldermen, in which he managed to make both progressives and more conservative aldermen mad, and now going all in basically for an issue that the Chicago Teachers Union wants, which is get rid of Martinez so we can get the contract we want. If
Brandon Johnson was going to ask Santa for something this coming year, I think it would be the opportunity to rebuild trust with his city council, because it's gone. And he's going to have to, he has it, because even some of his colleagues, some of his supporters were going against him on some of the things he wanted. He's in bad stead. He presents a good face to the public. I am the collaborator in chief and all of that. And of course, on Political Report, we've had many older people who have said, I don't think that's true. So clearly there's a lot going on behind the scenes. The bottom line is, yes, he's got a lot of trust to build. He's got time, right?
He's got till 27. Time, but yeah.
But if they've got agendas, they've got things they've got to accomplish in a new year. Even though the board, remember back to Rahm Emanuel, the city council couldn't stand that guy, right? But over time, man, he got his property tax hikes. He knew how to work the council. And in the end, they may not have liked him, but they respected him. I think Johnson needs to work towards that.
Well, Brandon Johnson isn't a politician. He's not a politician.
Well, he should have done not the way the other ones are. No, absolutely, and not the way Mayor Daley was and all of that. But, it's Donald Trump says he's not a politician. You're in the game. You're a politician.
Very true. All right, let's do your year in review.
Yeah.
What do you think were the big
the
political
highlight?
stories of the year?
Well, you know, we all have a list that I gave you. Obviously, the election, right? I mean,
Yeah.
we've talked for hours about it, but that, of course, was major. But I think what's really interesting about that is the what's happening since then, because Joe Biden has faded to off the scene. If you stop somebody from another planet right now and said, who's the president, they might tell you that it's Donald Trump because all attention is on him. But you're also seeing, I think the concern from the media perspective are all the chips that seem to be falling in place for Trump. One of the other items on the agenda, the legal battles, let me just put all those together. So he gets elected president and all the legal battles just fall away. News this week, the Georgia prosecutor, Fani Willis, she's pulled out of the case. That's dead. That case is over now. So basically the years and years of battle, and obviously he's going to basically face nothing. The only one that continues is the Juan Marchand New York case, where Marchand has ruled that, no, Trump, you're not immune from, as far as the Supreme Court. This is a state case, but we'll see what he does as to whether he chooses to go after him or not. But the bottom line is we're seeing ABC News settling that defamation case for Stephanopoulos, Des Moines Register. All this stuff is going on, and I think the media has a concern because, especially at least for me in the ABC News case, that's when ABC News probably would have won. Yes, Stephanopoulos said something that he shouldn't have said, accepting that there was a judge who backed it up. There's a discussion to be had there, and a $15 million payment. But here's what I think it was all about. I'm not going to get too legal, but there's a case called New York Times versus Sullivan. I'm sure you know it well. And it's a case that basically says you can't go after the media unless they have done something that is defamation, but it has to be with actual malice. You need to be, that's a tough standard.
Journalism 101.
Yeah, and the media always wins. I think the fear of ABC, and they've not said this, but I'm reading into their decision, I think the fear is if that case went up to the Supreme Court, a Supreme Court that's been just dropping, turning around, precedents left and right, that they would look and say, you know what, New York Times versus Sullivan, yeah, that's no good law either anymore. That would be the fear.
Law and ethics class with Dr. Francois. Okay, let's talk a little bit about other things that are going. Oh, we only have 30 seconds.
Well,
but I want to talk quickly about the DNC and RNC and what effect those have on the cities.
Well, obviously, they were good for Milwaukee and Chicago in terms of the business and growth that they brought into it. It brought up a lot of attention to it, but also because, let's talk about Chicago, that's our home. But as you know, with regard to the deportation issues coming up, we now have, the Tom Homan, his borders are, and they're looking at Chicago as the first place to come. So we've come off with this very positive DNC experience, but now what are we about to experience if he follows through and after January 20th comes to Chicago for all the DNC, for all the deportation issues?
Who's coming up?
On my show this weekend, we're actually going to run a couple of interviews we ran before because we think they're really cool. It's a look at the city. Forrest Claypool will join me again to talk about the Mayor Richard M. Daley years. It was a fascinating discussion based on his book called The Daily Show.
That's a blast from the past.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And Greg Pratt, who wrote that book about Lightfoot, talked to him about the years of Lightfoot. So a little history lesson. Speaking of history.
From the professor.
Thank
you,
the
Paul.
professor.
Appreciate it.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
And happy Hanukkah. And happy Hanukkah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy Kwanzaa.
Did we get them all?
I think so.
And everything else I've missed.
Happy holidays.